Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with Josh, and today, well, hope you got your weapons ready, because we got a triple countdown with the top 5 weapons. Yeah, triple. As in 3 categories, 5 top in the top 5, you know? I guess he didn't want to go down the Scorpion route, you know, a whole month for weapons. You know? I wonder if that's where you got the idea for Bots Month. I don't know. Are the boss countdowns? I don't know. I mean, that's where I think that's what's going on here, but we'll see. We'll see. So, Josh, let's see your favorite weapons. Be sure to like Scott for more. Hope you enjoy. Let me know your favorite weapon in video games. Let's go.
Making a list of the best weapons in video games is no easy task.
No kidding.
I'm just giddy about looking forward to the comments of, why wasn't such and such weapon here? So to keep this from becoming the next boss,
Was that for Brody Lee?
I decided
or
to do
Brody
something
Fox?
a
I
little
don't
bit
know.
different. Presenting the world's
I swear I've
first
seen that avatar.
Unless I didn't notice or forgot if another person did it, sorry.
Oops.
I'm going to be making separately ranking the best melee, ranged, and magic weapons. First things first, how
Keep
effective
easy.
is the weapon at taking down enemies and clearing the objective? That's kind of the point, after all.
True.
Second,
No
how
fun if it works.
is it to use? Lastly, how much of a role does it play in the story, or how much impact does it leave that it's considered
So
a staple?
effectiveness, fun,
Let's find out by
and
counting down our
continuity. Got it.
triple top 5 weapons.
Here we go. I wonder how it works. Is it like one from each section? I don't know. I'm guessing that's what he's doing, but let's just see. Here we go. Triple threat. Let's begin. First up, it's range. Okay, I guess it is just one for each, I guess.
Mega Man has been collecting weapons from other robot masters
Mega
since the
Busters?
dawn of the NES up until now. These weapons definitely vary in terms of creativity and practicality, but yeah, let's not beat around the bush here. Nothing tops the Metal Blade. Allow me to give you the 4-step formula for making the most overpowered weapon imaginable for a 2D platformer. 1. Make it a projectile. 2. You can aim it
right.
anywhere you want. 3. Let it one-shot most enemies and overtake half the bosses in the game. 4. Have the ammo count be quadruple the amount of a standard weapon.
Damn.
Seriously, the only thing this weapon's missing is a homing mechanic. Even factoring how busted it is, it's just a cool projectile in general. You're throwing saw blades at your enemy. No duh, it's gonna hurt like a bitch. Considering how easy Metal
I guess they
Man
got an
is in
idea
both
for
terms of
Gmod
stage
there.
and boss fight, it's like the game is begging for you to get this weapon first and clean sweep the entire game. But yeah, that's unfortunately why this weapon isn't higher. Part of what makes a weapon great is how much it adds to the overall tightness of the gameplay, and Metal Blade makes Mega Man 2 a total cakewalk, with the only thing standing in your
you
way
get this
being
one to win the game.
Boobing trap fight. When the game is so poorly balanced that you need an overpowered item to get you out of most of it, that's not exactly
Yeah,
good
nope.
design.
Whoops.
Heck, even Archie poked fun at it. But it's hard to deny the weight Metal Blade carries as one of the series' most well-known and beloved weapons. It has everything going for it.
Considering it makes it easier, I'm not surprised. Next up, 4. Okay, one counter in each.
Picking a single weapon from TF2
Oh!
is easier said than done.
Yellow boy!
Overflowing with them. This could have easily been a top 15
Sasha?
TF2 weapons list. Surprisingly, our
I
pick
think
ended up
that's
being
more,
the stock
you know,
sticky bomb launcher.
Fobbles. Oh.
Just taking it at face value, though,
Woo.
doesn't seem too impressive. Yeah, it kills enemies and buildings pretty well. What does it have beyond that? Sticky jumping for one. Using the bombs, Demo Man can jump across the field at absolutely ludicrous speed.
So,
Easier
the
said than
sticky
done,
jumper?
though. Demo Man takes far more damage from his bombs than the soldier takes from his rockets.
Oops.
If you're not careful, you can easily
Yeah,
die,
oof.
either from the explosions or from the fall damage. But if you can master it, you can get around maps faster than the Scout. Some Demo Men are so
Yeah.
good they can sticky jump multiple times without hitting the ground. And yeah, you can use the sticky jumper to avoid the damage, but that takes out half the fun. But aside from gimmicks, the amount of versatility this weapon has is unparalleled. You can use it aggressively,
good for offense,
lock down
and taking it down.
or even set up some cheeky traps. The only real reason that the sticky bomb launcher not being higher is that being on the other end of it is
Annoying.
maddening. There's only so much begrudging respect I can offer when my buildings constantly get destroyed. That and the
I can't blame him.
arming time makes it rough to fight at close range. Man, all this talk about the sticky bomb launcher really makes me want to boot up TF2. is what I would say if Valve would actually fix it for the love of...
What Monado witchcraft is this?
Sorry, Demo, that's kind of your game right now. Val, fix it for God's sake, man. You got a community, help it. Don't just ignore it, shoo them off. Like, seriously, you're starting the tournament with Bethesda and just thinking that it just works and they'll fix it. Like, seriously, dude, we're not gonna fix all your problems. Ay, ay, ay. I swear. What's it gonna take to get their attention? Anyway, let's just wrap up the range and we'll go on to the next one. So what's next?
If you think that Manco's catalog of weapons is impressive, the guns manufactured in
Borderlands
are mind-breaking weapons of mass destruction. With the claim to fame of having 87 bajillion guns. Jeez, that's a lot. Just picking one is really hard, especially considering just how varied and specialized these armaments can be.
True.
So let's generalize a bit. In Borderlands, each weapon falls under the brand of a different manufacturer, each with its own niches and specialties. From the elemental focus, high-tech guns of Maliwan, to the rustic and single-shot guns of Jacobs, and the cheap, broad appeal of Tedior that reloads by throwing the gun. Alright, all the weapon manufacturers carry their own personalities that are evident
pretty much
both in-game lore and just using the guns. Realistically, any of these could be a candidate on their own, as each one can speak to a different person depending on your playstyle. So,
okay.
I say we pick the most Borderlands-y manufacturer of the group.
Hyperion?
And let's answer that question by asking another very simple question.
Explosions!
Oh yeah, baby!
Ooh,
Torque
Torque.
guns are the guns that you want if your objective is to cause wanton destruction. Exclusive to the Torque weapons are the elemental type Explosion. Unlike other elemental types found across the series, Explosion isn't a status condition that causes extra damage over time or anything like that. It's exactly what you think it is.
Mr. Torque!
No.
Mr. Torque! Yes.
Mr. Torque, yes!
Always yes.
Who needs to aim for critical weak spots or think critically
Ba-boom.
about elemental weaknesses where you can just blow your enemies to pieces? And Torque weapons are pretty dang good at doing exactly that. Your standard issue Torque guns come in shiny metallic clothing, often sporting checkerboard patterns like the race cars.
Also, who doesn't love
bullets you'd be dead
explosions?
wrong as anyone unfortunate enough to be staring down your barrel, because instead they shoot rocket-propelled mini-jets that explode on contact with anything they hit. And with names like the Sinewy Bang Stick, the Lumpy Intense Slapper.
Okay.
Really? The
What do you get?
Whap a derp?
Rock a flap a what?
Pretty clear that these guns are meant
Yeah,
for the manly
less-
men out there. But oh,
They
that's
don't
not even
care
getting
about
into
the
unique
name, they
guns
just
and the
don't
legendaries
care.
like the meta-defining
Woo!
Unkept Herald, the Flacker, the very aptly named Nukem, a rocket launcher that shoots, an actual nuke at your enemies. Or if you want something simpler, you could always go for the Sword Explosion.
Sword Explosion!
Exploding swords that split into even exploding swords. Yeah, subtlety isn't really an option for Torque guns.
Nope.
And then there's the CEO and
Let him go.
spokesperson for Torque, whose full legal name could make him
Mr.
the
Torque
president of
Explosion.
Theocracy.
High
This
five,
testosterone-filled
Flexington.
madman is like if Saxon Hale was a sports buff and about 9 times as crazier and is the star of his very own DLC in the second game. He refined in a gladiatorial arena filled with Torque guns and learned such fun facts as his love of explosions. No, really? The fact that he swears too much. No, really? And then the shareholders made him surgically attach a digital sensor into his own voice box.
Really?
No.
The Torque shareholders wired my voice box with digital sensor, so I can't say stuff like your fucking balls.
Damn.
Like half my fucking vocabulary.
Okay. Or there's also the
Makes
time he
sense.
suplexed the shark wearing a bolo tie. Was
Ooh.
he or the shark wearing the bolo tie?
Yes!
Lunacy and in-your-face attitude of the entire Torque brand is the kind of thing that's only found in Borderlands. And their guns
Again,
are absolutely
gotta
top of
love the
line,
explosions.
too. They're the best guns if you just want to turn your brain off, point them at someone, and boom!
Pseudo to Obama.
Your enemy. And really, what else could a Fault Hunter on a death world like Pandora ask for?
Nothing else. Just light 'em up, boys. Light 'em up. Sorry, that's it.
What does it say about
Oh,
a gun
Samus?
that you can never think of it without thinking of the one who wields it?
Oh?
Samus Aran's arm cannon is one such gun. You never think of it apart from Samus's iconic
True,
power
it's part of the
armor. Yet for
suit.
such an understated weapon, it has a large bag of tricks. As a weapon of the Chozo race, it is perhaps expected that the arm cannon is such a technological marvel. It can vanish completely, being stored along with the rest of the power armor in Samus's Zero suit. It's also capable of swapping to a missile launcher and overcharging for larger blasts. Oh, but that's not all!
No, folks, you
Ice
got
beam,
an ice
plasma
beam.
beams, grappling beams, wave cannon mode, flamethrower, shooting light and darkness, and more. With the right upgrade, it seems like Samus's trusty arm cannon can get her out of almost any problem. Almost. There's been a time or two where the power armor and thus the arm cannon with it have failed Samus.
But in the end,
Yeah,
it's still
well,
one of the most reliable guns in gaming, as well as
True.
one of the most versatile and even
Boom.
dramatic.
Boom. Oh, the arm cannon. Let's see the arms.
Model 1887, Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2. You had
Hasta la
it
vista.
was terrifying. Flood, Mario, your greatest weapon as well as your greatest ally. Portal
Yeah,
gun,
good
Portal.
player.
So simple, yet the implications and possibilities are
Are endless.
crazy. Blue Shell, Mario Kart, the great equalizer, and ender of so many friendships. Dread, Warframe, just as devastating in your hands as your enemies. Gravity Gun,
Yeah,
Half-Life
watch it.
2. I think it's kind
Does
of
it-
overrated, but people love it for a reason, so here it is.
What can I say?
We accept your welcome. Number one.
When it comes to iconic,
Ooh, the
when it comes
sawed-off
to
shuck-
memorable, when it comes to
so many
unmitigated cool factors and impact on gaming history, nothing can match the Doom's BFG.
G, baby.
Well, strictly speaking, the acronym stands for
Big
Bioforce
fuck.
Gun 9000 for the 2005 movie.
Bleh. We
all
know the truth.
what it means. Big friendly
big fuck
giant.
on.
Indeed, the BFG is so awesome that the original Doom can't even fit the whole thing on screen. It rains plasma blasts onto your enemies and leaves nothing unscathed.
Nope.
Of course, such power comes at a price. A single shot will set you back 40 energy cells. Heavy cost for such uncommon ammo, but well worth the price to see your enemies fall before you. And the most incredible thing about the BFG, in the original Doom, the game engine itself couldn't handle how much damage the weapon was capable of
Really?
inflicting due to the periodicity of the simplistic pseudo-random number generator used by the Doom engine. Try saying that 5 times fast.
I'm
And
good.
acquiring that weapon in Doom 2016 is just... Oh.
Yes, the resistance.
Killing demons was already fun, but here,
Fire!
it erases an entire room and shoving that much power into the final boss's mouth and
Bye-bye. Anyone up for a little rampage?
the original Doom came out. Much has changed in gaming, but Doom and the BFG
Never.
eternal.
Amen. Ooh. Chemicals. Time to go one-on-ones for some melees. Here we go. Woo! First up.
Starting with Melee, no, not Smash, blades are probably the first thing you think of
Sword
as your
fight.
typical Melee weapon. And yes, we have a blade as our number 5, but it's a bit harder to see a hidden blade, if you would.
Oh,
yeah, it's Assassin's
the hidden
Creed's
blade.
Oh, you know this. It's probably the thing you remember the most from Assassin's Creed, other than Ezio, Unity's glitch face, and 3's terrible ending. Positive vibes.
Right.
Positive vibes,
Back to the hidden blades.
the history of the hidden blade goes back to ancient Persia, where it was used to kill King Xerxes I by the assassin Darius. Darius's invention was eventually given to other prominent assassins like Odyssey's Cassandra and Origin's Bayek, whose usage allowed it to become the signature weapon of the Assassin Brotherhood.
Yep.
The blade hangs under the wrist of the assassin, allowing for a quick stab to the throat or back that is both quiet and deadly. While it is excellent as a quick kill weapon, it's not the best as an actual parrying weapon for duels, as it can be broken with enough force. At first, the blade required the sacrifice of the ring finger to allow the extension of the blade, but our OG Pro Tag, Altair, altered it to remove this requirement. For some reason, mysterious hooded figures with the ring fingers removed seem to stand out. Never would have guessed. Altair's adjustments pioneered a whole slew of advancements for the blade, including a hidden gun and poison blade. These advancements were recreated and eventually improved upon
Thank you,
by Leonardo da
Da
Vinci
Vinci
and
himself.
other famous inventors. We have variants like the Hook Blade from Revelations, the Phantom Blade from Unity, and the Pivot Blade from 3. However, in modern times, the Hidden Blade isn't used as often as more, with the exception of high-ranking assassins for traditional purposes. They still use variants like the Shock Blade, but we're at a time where more advanced methods of killing people exist, even if they aren't as quiet.
True.
While the practical use of the Hidden Blade may change depending on the version, it's still one of the most iconic melee weapons in gaming. Seeing Altair or Ezio effortlessly killing people in some of the coolest ways possible is why we fell in love with the series in the first place. And while the series gets more ridiculous with each entry, you can't deny that the Hidden Blade is just cool.
I guess that's why Valhalla didn't do well. They forgot the Hidden Blade.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a nice dagger. Interesting nuptial accessory. It's a bit sharp.
The
Thanks,
trusty
Genie.
dagger.
Dagger.
For when
Dagger,
during
dagger,
melee
dagger.
combat, you need something a bit more compact than a sword, but still sharp enough to deliver a killing blow. As long as you're not being a chucklehead when handling it.
Hey.
See what I mean?
Ow. What?
Well, wait. That's not how this is supposed to happen. Let me try again.
And there it lay, just
Oh,
like
the Dagger of Time.
dagger of time.
Forged from the sands of time, the Dagger of Time is one of the titular Prince of Persia's most iconic weapons. A handy little pricker on its own, and the only blade that can kill the sand creatures we come across. And given its title, I already pieced together that its biggest gimmick is being able to manipulate
Reverse
time.
time.
Oh, what's that? You messed up your parkour and plummeted headfirst into a pit of spikes? No worries.
No
The
need.
Dagger
Back
has
you
an
go.
ultimate rewind button, giving you a second chance to get it right, or multiple chances to botch it up again just for the giggles. Don't pretend you don't get a kick out of the game over screens breaking the fourth wall.
No, that didn't happen either. Let me begin again.
Speaking of, that does remind me of one catch the wibbly-wobbly timey-wimey blade has.
Yeah?
While it can reverse time around us, we still remember what happened. Basically, every
So,
time we use
PTSD?
the dagger, it creates an alternate timeline. Oh gosh, now that I think about it, that's kind of messed up. The fact that the prince can undo all his boo-boos but still recall the pain. Why do I keep overthinking things? For real though, you can only imagine
Sorry.
how much grief we'd probably save ourselves if we all had a time dagger. You can actually feel the disappointment when you lose it temporarily. I mean, yeah, you get a scimitar that can insta-kill enemies, but how do you compare that to the world's best rewind button?
Pretty much. Hard to fight against that. 3?
Legacy is a topic that
Ooh,
comes up
Cooper
often
Kane?
in the Sly Cooper games, both one's personal legacy and the legacy of those who came before you. The ultimate symbol of
So-
Sly's legacy as a member of the Cooper clan is his
Is the
cane.
cane.
Coopers, since the days of ancient Egypt, have wielded similar canes. And when I say similar, I mean it. Despite all being Coopers, each
They
cane
got
has
that
its own
signature
unique
cane.
flavor.
cane.
From the massive tree trunk swung around by the Scottish sleigh Cooper, the strongest of the Coopers, and twin dagger-like canes of the Ryochi Cooper of Japan. No, I will not be mentioning the atrocious redesigns of Sly 4. Sly's own cane was actually his father's cane, which was the only thing left of him after the Fiendish Five got done with him. But that's enough about the history of the cane. How does it function as a weapon? Quite well, I'd say. It allows Sly to hook unsuspecting opponents from behind, juggling them into the air to bring them down hard in an instant kill. It seems to be unbreakable. It offers Sly a lot of reach in melee combat. It can even turn into a pair of ice-climbing hooks. Yes, really, the Sly series can be goofy sometimes, but that's part of the charm. Most of the value of the cane is the
Fair.
mobility it
Woohoo!
offers Sly, who, even on his own, is quite agile. His cane lets him swing from hooks and vault himself into the air using certain grapple points, as well as sliding
Doing what
down
you
ropes
can
and
with
rails.
what you got.
There is one other minor thing. The cane also
Cooper
serves
vaults.
as the key to the lock on the Cooper Vault, where all Sly's ancestors stored their wealth and treasures, as well as a gauntlet to challenge their descendants and keep any outsiders from intruding on sacred ground. The only thing the cane doesn't do is julienne fries.
If only. I think I'll take the cane. Thank you.
It's dangerous to go alone.
Take this.
Well, that's really kind of dumb that you wrinkle again.
Ooh,
Wow.
another Nintendo entry. This time
So,
from
Master Sword?
Zelda. We thought
Of
about
course.
including the Sand Wand for magic weapons, but
Come on.
we have to go with the Master Sword, aka
Duh.
the weapon you take when it's too dangerous to go alone. The Master Sword is described as a sacred blade with the power to vanquish evil. It has been infused with the sacred
blade of
flames
hero
golden
evil's
goddesses
bane.
and blessed by Hylia's power. In layman's terms, it's a freaking powerful sword.
Amen.
Yes, the damage points in most Zelda games look minuscule, but when taking the enemy's health into account, probably shouldn't take 2 hit points at face value. Now,
True.
Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom's Master Sword variants deal a minimum of 30 points of damage, with the max being 60 points of damage when it glows in the presence of certain gloom-infused opponents. Look at other comparable weapons. That's not a small number.
Nope.
That is a big number!
It also helps that the Master Sword has the power to destroy magical barriers and lock away the remains of a demon. You can even channel heavenly energy to unleash skyward strikes. These are especially useful in Skyward Sword when Girahim uses the same type of attack in his boss fight. As you probably guessed, the power the Master Sword possesses has definitely helped make a name for itself. Cosplayers wouldn't be so serious about including it in their ensemble if it was just some regular sword. But
Nope.
since Link to the Past and perfected by Ocarina of Time, acquiring the Master Sword is a magical, iconic moment that never gets old. Even in games where Link's not the main character, they have to get that moment in there, like in Super Smash Bros. Brawl or
True.
even Soul Calibur 2. Too bad we can't use it in real life like in the Smosh sketch. What I would give to go... Ah!
Yeah. If only. Anyway, next up, the honorable mentions.
Home Run Bat, Super Smash Bros. Has appeared
Yeah,
in
but I'm a
every Smash
swing.
game and almost guarantees a heavy-hitting home run. Just bear with it, Josh. Speedburner, Mega Man X2. I'm a sucker for fire. Not really that deep an explanation.
True, in the name.
Zenith from Terraria. It's a sword made of swords that shoots swords.
Cool.
Mighty Magic Swords were like a word.
Mighty Magic Swords.
Netherite sword / axe from Minecraft. So that's why everyone wants a diamond weapon. To smith it into something better. Soul Blade, Golden Sun, The Lost Age. As bright as the sun and is just as much of a heavy hitter. Yamato, Devil May Cry. Virgil's second best friend, right after his favorite sparring partner.
If only. And the number 1 bladed weapon. What is it?
In any JRPG, it's an unwritten rule that the hero will be using a sword. And when it comes to
Yep.
swords wielded by
Oh.
said hero, none are more iconic
Monado.
than the Monado. Right off the bat, we have to talk about the design. Yeah, it looks pretty bland at first, until the freaking laser blade
Yeah.
emerges. And as the series
Nintendo's
goes on, you get all
laser
kinds of
sword.
equally cool upgrades for it. In combat, the Monado allows Shulk to essentially do anything. Deal insane damage, buff, debuff, shield allies. And all that's just in the first game. But what truly makes the Monado earn its place is its story significance. In the world of Xenoblade, the Monado is the only weapon capable of harming the Mechons. So once original wielder Dunban loses the use of his arm, things get kind of desperate. Thankfully, Shulk steps up to become its new wielder, and it even grants him the ability to see into the future.
New job!
For most of the game, the Monado is instrumental, allowing him and his friends to take the fight directly to the Mechonis. Of course, things aren't nearly as simple as they seem. Long story
Are they
short,
ever?
Shulk was just being manipulated by Zanza as a glorified delivery boy the whole time. Ah, jeez, these games love to rip each other off. Thus,
Don't
the
they all?
final battle consists of real and replica Monados being pitted against each other. From there, the Monado only continued to evolve as the series progressed. In 2, it's used as Malice's weapon. It's a special kind of humbling to be on the receiving end of all the attacks that made quick work
Oh,
of your
heads up.
enemies before. Of course, it's just as effective when you get to wield it with Shulk as a blade. In 3, Shulk followed in the footsteps of Dunban and incorporated his evasion techniques into the Monado arts. Oh, and Lynn has hairpits of it in X.
Well, before we get to magic, man, Monado's number 1. Makes sense in a way, and you gotta love him. Surprised I didn't count magic, but speaking of which, we'll be wrap things up with the 5 best magic weapons. So I'm not sure what makes it a magic weapon, fused with magic, I don't know. We're about to find out. So, shall we check it? Here we go. I don't think spells
A
count.
weapon be both magical and melee. Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
Don't
magic
worry, I'm not
swords.
going to be like, oh, this sword can also do 2d6 fire damage. It's a magical sword. What kind of professional do you take me for? These swords can do 2d 80 eye gouging damage and they're also on fire. See? Much better. God of War's Blades of Chaos are not only Kratos' signature weapons throughout the Greek saga, they are a constant reminder of his past and fury. Forged by Hephaestus and imbued with primordial flame, These blades are capable of imbuing themselves with the hottest fire with each swing. They've killed countless humans,
Yep, the
monsters,
flames are rich.
and gods, including Kratos' own wife and child, and...
Thanks a lot, Ares.
boy. The blades themselves are chained to the wielder and can only be removed by the current god of war. While Kratos was able to remove them when he obtained that title, he could never fully escape the blades. Whether it was to send them into the ocean or leave them in a desert, the blades would always find their way back to him. Eventually, he gave up and kept them as a way to remind him of his past, as they could still be useful. In God of War 4, he took up the blades once more to save Atreus, as they were the only weapons he had that could kill the monsters of Niflheim. Once he upgraded the blades here, they lost their original Greek design and started to look more Nordic, gaining more abilities and affecting Kratos' growth. While Fimbulwinter dulled their edge in a way, you could tell they evolve as Kratos evolves as a person. The Nordic saga changed Kratos as a person, and the blades went along with it. But it doesn't mean they don't lose their destructive destiny. It was with these blades that Ragnarok was created, and many people died as a result. While Kratos did this to save the Nine Realms from Odin's reign, the results speak for themselves. Despite the blades' iconic nature, they are lower due to being a hybrid rather than pure magic. Can't doubt their impact on the series and Kratos as a whole, no matter how many gory scenes we get from them. Like, sheesh, I thought the hidden blade stuff was gruesome.
Sorry, Xerxes. Anyway, number 4.
All right, now this is one
Ooh,
series we can
Fire Emblem,
absolutely
okay.
count on to give us some
So, some
high-quality
tomes?
magic weapons. So which one of Fire Emblem's many tomes or magic blades is going to make it on the list? Is it Forseti, the wind tome that massacres barons all across FE4? Or is it Nosferatu, which can drain the enemy's HP? Or the Flame Shuriken, which, if given to Elise, can rip through hordes of enemies in seconds? Who am I kidding? It's gotta be Dark Spike's T, right? The magic that makes Lysithea as busted as she is?
Was that English?
Yeah! Where'd you come from?
Shaman.
I don't know. I think someone warped me here.
Warped?
Subtle. Yeah,
Yeah,
many
there we
of
go.
the fancy destructive tomes out there are completely dwarfed by the viability of the warp staff. All this does is send one adjacent unit away from you. But depending on what unit you send, it can completely change the tide of a chapter. And some maps, you
Yeah,
can straight
sure.
up pass walls and skip puzzles with this thing.
Sure, having strong units with powerful damage-dealing weapons is good too, but if it takes too long to get your units to the enemies, then that kind of sucks the fun out of it. So
True.
getting to send those strong units flying into the enemy thicket to clear out the path ahead is an undeniable godsend.
It even has incredible synergy with the rescue staff, allowing warped units to also haul in distant units towards them, making group progress faster overall. Obviously, the rarity and limited uses keep it from being too broken, but
Yeah, of course.
once you have it, the power to blaze through the toughest chapters is in your hands.
On that note,
Go.
let's draw attention to the 3 games that handle warp the best: Thracia 776, Three Houses, and Engage. Thracia, like the Marth games, has no limit to where you can warp your allies. The difference is that you gotta work your way to getting these staffs via side quests and stealing from enemies to earn its high accessibility.
Damn.
Not to mention, the game gives us access to its variant Rewarp, which staff wielders can use to warp around the map by themselves.
In Three Houses, warp is limited to Lysithea, Lindhart, Manuela, and Happy, each having only one use of warp per map. But what makes it especially good is that you'll never run out of it for the whole game. This is insanely helpful for completionists going through all the routes, especially in combination with Stride to boost your army's overall movement.
And finally, there's
Engage.
Engage.
Of course you'd compliment Engage again.
Yeah, shut up.
At first,
Thank
it
you.
seems like you only have a small range to work with, but with solid training on Mikaya's emblem, you'll gain access to Augment, which gives you better range, plus an extended AoE that lets you warp up to 5 units at once. Combine this
Wow,
with the
5?
Goddess Dance, and it essentially busts down the limit on how far you can carry multiple units in a single turn.
I was about to say, there's a reason fans don't shut up about how good a staff this is. It's practically the Deus Ex Machina for Fire Emblem nerds, and for that, it's going to remain a classic for a while.
Of course, in
Fair.
some games, you gotta be really good at digging through specific maps if you want to earn one of these.
Really? Because I found this one under my couch.
What? No, wait.
Oh, bye.
I think I found a new best friend.
Yay! Sorry, Shaman. Next time. All right, 3 coming up.
Kid
Icarus.
Icarus Uprising. Sakurai's
Three
refurbishing
Sacred
of the
Treasures,
NES
or where we
Classics
going?
IP brought new life into the lore, especially the characters.
Too bad we haven't seen a new
Ixalan
game
has
since.
become a dorky, yet cheery and downright hilarious protagonist whose antics are always fun to see.
Are you a buzzard?
Now, I think we can all agree that it's not a buzzer. Though I have seen him eat some questionable things off the ground.
Boy.
More ice cream gives you health.
Underestimate him at your peril, though, because holy Palutena, this angel's got an arsenal. Its weapons are varied as they are destructive. Bows, swords, cannons, orbitars, weird tattoo-like palm weapons, all capable of making mincemeat out of the armies of demons of the underworld, forces of nature, and alien Aurum alike. But nothing, absolutely nothing in this angel's bottomless repertoire compares to the jaw-dropping, sheer angelic might of the legendary 3 sacred treasures. Based on a legendary trio of items from Imperial Japan bearing the same moniker, these holy relics
Sword,
are the
shield.
pinnacle of Pitt's
we go.
weaponry. Forged by Dintos, the smithy of the gods said to dwarf even Hades in power, the sacred treasures were kept safe by Palutena in the constellations of all places. And when Pitt busts them out, you know it's serious business. The 3 sacred treasures consists of, well, 3 components, of course. The wings of Pegasus, the mirror shield, and the arrows of light. The wings of Pegasus grant Pitt an unlimited flight time. Perfect for him since he can't fly on his own, and
Yeesh,
everyone
harsh.
loves to remind him of that.
He can fly?
I think the only one who can't fly by himself is you.
Ouch. That's harsh.
With
Here,
these,
tell
Pitt doesn't
me.
have to worry about his wings burning up. An experience I'm sure makes his little heart flutter in joy. Next up is the Mirror,
Mirror
Shield,
Shield.
which I'm sure if you played Zelda, you can get a general idea of what
Yeah,
this does.
easy enough to
If
figure
your
out.
answer was reflect projectiles,
You
then
win.
congratulations. You don't live under a rock.
This
Yeah,
shield
pretty
can
much.
reflect attacks with ease, sending projectiles right back to the center, and can even protect Pitt from the petrifying gaze of Medusa. Hey, just like on the Myths. But the real star of the show here are the arrows of light. Shot from a specialized bow, these arrows are insanely powerful and shred through underworld forces like paper. They pierce, they have tracking second to none, and can shoot crazy fast. What's not to love? Not even Orns. These usually invincible enemies that kill Pitt with a single touch can defend from these arrows. Yes, they can kill invincible enemies. No wonder Medusa fell to these things. But Hades is made of tougher stuff than that, and he manages to destroy the sacred treasures with ease. It's a good thing that Dintos was willing to give Pitt a special upgrade, going from the 3 sacred treasures to a single great sacred treasure. What's the great sacred treasure, you might ask? Oh, nothing
Let's
really
hear
good.
it.
It's just a giant flying holy mecha. Now,
Yo.
this is the God Killer. Even as it sheds its weaponry and armor in the final battle, it keeps up with the god of the underworld. And, charged by Palutena, its main gun just disintegrates Hades completely. In one shot. Just...
Yep.
Sacred treasures take everything to the extreme.
Thanks,
Brady states
Simmons.
that Pitt's as destructive as 100 reset bombs, and yeah, with weapons like these at his disposal, it's completely understandable why. The sacred treasures just speak for themselves, honestly.
Pretty much.
Pitt's an angel with weapons even gods fear. Don't mess with him.
Amen. Definitely an angel you want on your side, otherwise, goodbye.
Arthas Menethil, still
Old
undeniably
Lichblade,
one of
okay.
the most tragic fallen heroes in World of Warcraft. Once a benevolent prince, he desperately fought to liberate his people from a deathly plague, only to find himself in a never-ending downward spiral that corrupted him into becoming the Lord of the Undead, the Lich King. And as the old saying goes, takes 2 to tango. Arthas didn't become the new plague bringer on his own.
Nope.
He needed someone or something to give him a push in the wrong direction. That something was the original Lich King's terrifying rune blade, Frostmourne. To call this beauty a mere sword is a severe understatement. On the surface, it's the most metal-looking blade ever wielded by a baddie. Gives already an extra power boost coupled with its enormous size. Anyone able to wield something this massive deserves its amazing power. But there's a curse hidden beneath that awesome finish. For Frostmourne is no mere sword. It is also the vessel of the first Lich King, Ner'zhul. Anyone who frees the sword from its frozen prison shall be given great power, but also cursed by Ner'zhul's influence. Arthas was warned that wielding the blade would be a huge risk, but once again, his desperation won out, and he freed the sword, thinking it would help him stop the plague, only to be corrupted and becoming the instrument of Azeroth's destruction. Along with its unmatched power and poisonous influence, Frostmourne serves as a prison to all the souls unlucky enough to cross blades with it. Countless souls that Arthas absorbs are drawn into the sword, serving as the conduit for his magic abilities. What's left behind gets converted into another member of His Majesty's undead army. So suffice to say, Frostmourne being a sword is the least of your worries, considering all the damage it's caused without slicing anyone up. That said, it is still a sword. It's destructive, but not indestructible. And with it shattering, those who were robbed of life by Arthas can finally be set free. And in a way, so can Arthas. However, without him, there must always be a Lich King. And anyone lucky enough to find the pieces can just reforge a new terrible blade, hammering in how we may never be free from its horrific presence. Did you know there was a weapon in Terraria that referenced it? Probably not. Got deleted, presumably due to fear of legal action, which is
Fair enough.
weird since a way more iconic magic weapon got referenced. But more on that later.
Right, of course, of course. Anyway, some more mentions real fast. Why not?
Orseti, Fire Emblem
Of course,
Genealogy. Never underestimate the wrath of an airbender. Fireflower, Mario. Okay, seriously, what's in the water that keeps giving the Mushroom Kingdom flora these kinds of powers? Sandwalk from Zelda. If sand
is.
controlling abilities don't catch your attention, the freaky hand design will do the trick. Dual blade, Tales of Graces. Twin blade that's a bow and can split apart into knives that are also guns. And this came out before Ruby.
Yeah. Very well, Rooster Teeth soon.
Let's see here. We got a car key, piano key, skeleton key, keyboard, key to the city, keyhole, key lime pie, key to my heart.
There's the Keyblade.
Was there ever any doubt? As
True.
you've seen throughout
Why
the
not?
above entries, the best magic weapons are those that blur the line between melee and ranged combat. And by far, the best example in gaming is the
Keyblade.
As a
Unlock
magic
any
weapon,
chest,
the Keyblade is
any
equally
lock.
capable of hitting things hard, as well as obliterating them with all kinds of projectiles.
Yep.
Regardless of the game, you're given equally viable options for hack and slash combos or becoming the ultimate black mage. This was taken to infinity and beyond in
Beyond.
Kingdom Hearts 3, where you get access to all kinds of crazy transformations to use, whether it's a gun, yo-yos, a shield, or a flag. It makes getting new ones all the more exciting. You could shoot magic with it, encase it in magic and throw it, use it to summon magical creatures, as well as open any lock. They did that last one less and less as the series went on, I notice. Of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't
makes
mention
sense.
the biggest issue with how the Keyblade is in the story, completely losing its uniqueness factor. Just like Super Saiyans, Jedi, and Alicorns, Keyblades went from something only the chosen could wield to something that's just handed out like
snap of
free
the wrist.
samples. Regardless, no taking away from how iconic it is. Why else do you think so many
True.
people like to design their own? Heck, I even have one.
Nice.
Put into perspective, it's been regularly referenced in plenty of other media. Has-Been Hotel, Ratchet and Clank, Terraria, Guilty Gear, Mighty Magiswords, Paracelsus, Wonderful World of Mickey Mouse, Ghost of Molly McGee. Heck, the latest Superman cartoon had Lois Lane be a Keyblade wielder.
Wow.
I'm Josh Scorcher, and you know it's sad when referencing Kingdom Hearts was one of the only things the Saints Row reboot did correctly.
Damn. Yeah, to be fair, you can't go wrong with a good old Keyblade. And, well, if you say otherwise, you're lying to yourself. Don't know why I said it like that, but Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, see ya.